This topic here, yes, it's a subject. It's an important subject. Success is execution. We know that. So success is the execution of your deal reg. But also combined in that, it's the vital important factor that I need to measure performance. I need to measure success. You need to look at these from the viewpoint of really identifying the key data points that are obtained for you to actually measure success, drive the execution of the program, and at the same time do that with the least amount of friction in terms of your engagement with your partners. So to that point, Kate, could you start with asking, giving us some feedback on measuring and tracking success?
Sure. So as John said earlier, executives especially, they just love seeing statistics in their QBRs, on slides, right, in beautiful PowerPoints and so on, as well as partners like to see it in a dashboard, and our partner managers also like to see it to discuss it with partners in their QBRs with the partner as well, right? So visibility and KPIs are really key for measuring the success of deal reg. So for us, everything is tracked in our CRM, and channel mechanics and our deal reg tool is so tightly integrated with everything that it's very easy for us to track everything via reports and dashboards in our CRM, and of course even export into the good old Excel and do all kinds of funky things in Excel with that. In terms of what we're tracking, it's new versus existing customer DRs. Is it with a new or an existing customer? Of course, the number of deal registrations, how many close, how many get omitted, lost, the value, the amount of the deal registration or the opportunities that are tied to those deal registrations per partner, and then of course also like slicing it by region, by country, by partner levels, and so on. And that is all basically possible because it's also tightly integrated into our CRM. And another benefit is that, or how we can track it is with, if we run spiffs, they also, like channel mechanics helps us with that as well. So that integration then helps us to show the partner what deal regs are eligible for a certain spiff, pick them, submit them, and then of course track the success of that spiff based on those deal regs.
Thank you, Kate. AJ, would you like to add to that, please?
Yeah, so we track, I think, most of the same things. I would say the one other thing that we track very closely is the contributions of the partner versus securely as a vendor. So if, for example, a customer reaches out to us and says, hey, we'd like to look at securely, but we need to purchase off this purchasing vehicle that only this partner is attached to, right? We're going to engage that partner. And we will give them deal registration in that situation, but we track the difference between the partner bringing us to us directly, something we look at very closely. We definitely look at things like close rates. We're able to stack rate partners based on those contributions. Again, most of the things that Kate covered. And then we very, very closely look at the ROI on our spiff and incentive programs around those deal registrations so that we can iteratively improve those, right? If one of them doesn't really provide an ROI, we won't move forward with that in the next quarter, or we'll tweak it accordingly. So that is one of the biggest values for sure in tracking the deal reg KPIs.
Thank you, AJ. John, points to add to that?
Yeah, I think what Kate and AJ mentioned there are definitely the common metrics that and measures that we would see across. I think the biggest change that we've seen, JB, is that there was a time when you could measure and do all that analysis manually on the spreadsheets and with people, but we've moved beyond that. So even, you know, if we look at the scale of, AJ mentioned they've got hundreds of partners, Kate mentioned they've got, you know, thousands of partners. So you start doing that across partners, maybe logging 20, 30, 40, 50 deal regs, then you combine that with an incentive and you want to analyze what drove the behavior. So this is where we need automation, and we've seen more and more people wanting to drive automation into really analyze, produce the executive insights, the partner insights, the partner account team insights. So you need different flavors of that same data set. And having got that, then they want to drive additional measures, you know, like so some of the measures that we heard Kate talk about, what's the balance of new versus existing business. We're seeing things now, did that deal reg lead to a competitor takeout, for instance? Can we narrow in, did that relate to a competitor takeout? So lots of micro analysis. Where I saw this change enormously was last year during the pandemic, and anybody that had a smart deal reg program in certain sectors could pivot their business very quickly. So if we look at, say, telecommunications as a sector, the home office, the small home office market suddenly exploded as a place to procure equipment for working from home, for instance. If you had early visibility of that trend with your deal reg program, you were well positioned to build up your stock through your distributors, have stock in the right geos, the right places. So I think that the last 18 months has told people to be prepared for change, have visibility of what's happening when a major economic or political or whatever pandemic change happens. Deal reg can help enormously when your business is going through an unexpected adjustment driven by something unforeseen. So lots of very interesting things that we learned in the last 18 months.
Do you think with these solutions in place, it drives down the resistance of partners and they're more willing to share these vital data points about their business and how they do business? Because ultimately, we're measuring our business, and Kate's measuring hers, and AJ's measuring his based upon the data points provided by the channel, and that's provided by their willingness to put data into these systems. So, do you think that with everything that's happened in the last 18 months, people are now coming down and realizing that the more I share and it's seamless and it's frictionless and the world is more remote, the better I'm going to be able to run my business?
I think the the answer to that, and you've touched on the key word data. The channel, like everybody else, and vendors are drowning in data. What's making the difference is taking that data and giving real business insights. And last year was a terrific example in the telecommunications sector. As I mentioned, JB, we need to pivot very quickly to be able to handle the small office, home office. AJ would probably have seen this as well when the schools went out, homeschooling kicked in, so security needed to switch to the domestic side of homeschooling. And, you know, if you don't have the data, if you can't analyze the data in a meaningful way to help your partners pivot, then you're going to be behind the curve, JB. So it's not about the data anymore. It's about understanding what's changing in the world and how you can give insights to your partners to help them move their business to where the money is, right?